A lot of brands are currently reaching the wrong people with their meta ad campaigns, and this has costed them a lot of money in terms of the opportunities that they can get in getting the right customers into their brand and getting them to purchase. So in this video, I'm going to go over what is causing this issue with your targeting and how you can go ahead and rectify that, and whether or not it's an issue for you in the first place. So I'll cover that in this video. And before I go into the strategies of how you can go ahead and make sure you're targeting the right people, usually Facebook does make mistakes when it comes to targeting and trying to reach the right people, but this is very rare. And usually you may not have to worry about this, but it's very important to know that this can happen. And if it does happen to you, then you know the steps in order to prevent that and how to resolve those particular problems. Now, you may be getting a lot of untargeted traffic, and you may be getting them to your website. There may be a lot of clicks there. You may be getting good metrics, but they're not converting. Now, this is a lot different from actual bad targeting, or maybe the meta algorithm not targeting correctly. This is essentially down to the website not being optimized for conversions, or maybe the product itself doesn't have a strong enough offer. And this is a lot different from actual campaigns that is not targeted correctly. So just bearing that in mind. And another reason why you may be reaching new audiences or untargeted audiences is because what happens is that when people view your ad, what they can do is share it with other people on the platform, and this will make them come to the ad and go to your website and view your website there, which can be a good thing. But if you're very particular about who you want to reach, then this can sort of give you people that you're not really trying to target. But this is really pretty small in terms of the amount of people who would be in that category compared to those that are actually being targeted with the ad. So I wouldn't worry about this too much.
Right, guys, so I have a dummy campaign set up here, and pretty much it's going to be the normal manual settings. And if you look at the ad set level, we can see here that I'm going to go over in particular what you can do to prevent you from getting the wrong types of customers or people targeted in your campaigns, which is going to be very important. So here, you can set up the pixel, number of conversions that you're trying to maximize. And what you want to do essentially is, if you come to interest section, usually you can see here immediately that it's auto set to Advantage Plus audience. And this is essentially going to be an audience where Meta believes that they can get to the right people. And this tries to eliminate the targeting aspect that you need to go ahead and implement for yourself. So this is what it goes. This is what it goes ahead and does, is that it uses ad technology to automatically find your audience. If you share an audience suggestion, we'll prioritize audiences matching your profile by searching more widely. But what you want to do in this case is you want to switch to original audience options. And the reason you want to do that is you want to have more control over your targeting, and this will enable you to reach the right people that you're looking to reach. Even though I do recommend that you do broad targeting, but in some instances, you want to do interest targeting and see how that works. So if you want to reach a particular type of customer, then you want to go ahead and use this method. So here we're going to choose original audience, and now you have the availability to choose these different options. Now it's worth bearing in mind that with these options here, it's not going to be set in stone. Meta will still try to find customers outside of this audience, because now, as of 2023, it decided that automated expansion would be automatic, right? It's not going to be optional. So that means that it's going to find new customers outside of your audience, whether you like it or not. So that's what's happened in this case. So for example, let's say you want to try and reach people who are into supplements, right? So you can say health, right? So health and wellness, personal care. Now, they will try to reach these people, right? But if they feel they can get better conversions, then they're going to go ahead and expand to audiences outside of this particular targeting. So as you can see here, it says this means we'll expand your audience to include more people beyond your detailed targeting selections when it's likely to improve performance. It's automatically applied based on your campaign objective and conversion goals. So, like I said, they're going to try and expand out whether you like it or not, which is a good thing. But if you want to be very particular with your targeting, then you're going to want to use this method. And it will try to reach people who are into health and wellness. And again, you can filter by languages as well. Usually you can leave this all on because it's automatic. If you're in English, they're going to automatically show it to people who speak English. As for the same thing with the genders as well, you can choose the different genders here, but it's not going to allow you to be very specific in terms of it will try to expand out. Even if you choose women, for example, they can still go ahead and search for men who may be interested in the product. So as I mentioned, it's not set in stone. Same thing with the age. You may have the age set here to 18 to 65. However, Meta may still try to find people who outside of this range. So in this case, obviously there's borders you can go, to be fair. But let's say you wanted to choose 25 to 45, right? You choose it here. So you may initially be targeting people between the ages of 25 to 45, but Meta can still go ahead and find people outside of that age range if they believe they can get the best conversions. And in terms of location, this is usually going to be hard set. So in this case, the United States, but usually they don't go ahead and look for people in this outside of the United States, for example. They don't do that in this case. Oh, I want to mention my Done With You consulting program where I can work with you and your brand one-on-one in order to reach your target revenues. And I've been able to do this with some of the biggest brands in the world where I effectively find out what their bottlenecks are in their business and then go ahead and alleviate those bottlenecks which they may have not been aware of. And so they're able to produce amazing revenues, amazing results, ROI, low cost per purchases, so on and so forth. So if you're interested and you feel like you have the budget in order to invest into the scaling and growth of your brand, then DM me on Instagram. The links can be found in the description and we can have a conversation there and we can see if you're a good fit. So it's important to note that when we look at the locations here, we can see that it says reach people living in or recently in this location. Now this is very important because what this essentially means is that you're going to be reaching people, in this case, in the United States, but you're also going to be reaching people who are recently in this location. So they may have traveled to America and been in the country when this ad was running, but when they left the country, they may still be targeted with these ads. So you may be reaching people who were recently in the United States, but are not there anymore. So just bear that in mind. This Meta will allow you to change that. So you may get a few people coming in from the brand who are actually not from America. So just bear that in mind as well. So that's essentially what we have in this case. Another important thing is that you can actually do targeting with your creative. So when it comes to actually reaching out to customers or potential customers and trying to get them to purchase, you can also use your ads, creative, and the ad copy to reach the right people. So for example, if you want to reach the people who are interested in a particular topic, then you can include that topic in your ad copy and also in the creative. So when those particular people see your ad, they're more inclined to go ahead and visit the website and potentially purchase. So that's also another thing you can do with the creative, and I'll cover this in future videos as well. Also, bearing in mind that you can target people based on age and gender, location, so on and so forth, and interest. If you want to see the results of who's being targeted and where they're being targeted, you can do so via the breakdown feature, which you can find here. And what you can do is click on age and gender, for example, right? When you click the breakdown, and you'll be able to see who exactly is having who exactly Facebook is targeting. So you can see the reach, the impressions, results, for example, and you can choose and find out who is being targeted. So this is also a very good feature that you can go ahead and use. Also, you can look at the day in which those ads are being run. So in this case, it was a particular time of day. So you can combine two different things. So you can combine age and gender and the day at which the ad was being seen. And you can also go ahead and target or look at the demographics. So, for example, you can look at age on its own, gender on its own. You can look at the geography, so the countries that are being targeted, as well as the delivery, so the placement. So, for example, the placement may be Instagram feeds or Instagram stories or Facebook stories, and so on. And so you can go ahead and find out where your ad money is going and whether or not you want to make changes to that, which I don't recommend you do, but usually this is going to be something that you can think about if you really want to be very particular. But this is only for later stages when you're spending a good amount of money and you're seeing a lot of data coming in, which is allowing you to make that determination. So just bear that in mind as well. Now, given everything that we've talked about in terms of how you can be more particular with your targeting, the age that you're targeting, as well as potentially the placements as well, I still highly recommend that you go with broad targeting. So it means that you're targeting pretty much all ages, all genders, and one location or multiple locations, depending on where you're shipping your product to, and also having all placements. And the reason for that is because you want to give Facebook as much leverage as possible to use their machine learning, which is actually going to get you better results than if you start to be very particular with your targeting and you're worried that you're actually bringing the wrong people into your site and they're not converting. So the idea here is that you want to give Facebook as much control as possible, and in particular, you want them to be able to use their algorithms in order to get you the best results. So that's definitely something that you want to go ahead and try and implement as much as possible for your brand. And I may have gone through all of this in this video, but even then, a lot of brands are still making mistakes when it comes to their targeting with their Facebook ads. And in this video, I go into more detail about what these particular mistakes are and how you can go ahead and prevent that from occurring with your brand and the account and stop you from losing on revenue month on month. And this is definitely something that I recommend that you go ahead and try and focus on when it comes to your targeting. So check this video out.